Hi, I'm Jim Hammerand, Managing Editor of Medical Design Outsourcing, and we are here live at the DeviceTalks West doing some FOMO interviews for the podcast. I'm here today with Cognito Therapeutics Chief Medical and Scientific Officer, Dr. Ralph Kern. Ralph, thank you. Welcome to the podcast.
Hey, Jim. Thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.
So first of all, let's talk about what drew you into neurotech and neuromod specifically.
Yeah, my background's in neurology and neuroscience, and electricity is the language of the brain. And I spent first part of my career being very much involved in measuring and stimulating nerves. And it occurred to me that this was a portal that could afford a treatment modality. And Cognito is really at that intersection of using the language of the brain to bring a treatment to people that are in desperate need of a healthcare solution. And that was really the crux of it for me.
And how exactly does this technology work?
Our brain uses electricity to maintain its resilience. And the resilience is driven by well-known biology. So we're harnessing the brain's own ability to heal itself and maintain a resilient state. We do that by delivering synchronized light and sound that produce a synchronized electrical activity to drive that same biology. And that's essentially, in simple terms, what we do. So basically, the technology is simple but incredibly impactful because of the native biology that it's able to drive.
What, from your perspective, are the biggest or the principal challenges right now facing the neurotech and neuromod market?
Yeah, I think increasing awareness of the capability of neurotechnology. I think understanding, particularly for brain disease, that the blood-brain barrier is there to keep most things out. We have privileged access to the brain by using the sensory on-ramps. So the synchronized light and sound activates the brain directly without impediment to drive the electrical activity that's important for this biological expression. So we're not limited by the constraints of drugs. So I think that awareness is becoming greater and greater, particularly with the brain-computer interface, transcutaneous magnetic stimulation, various forms of electrical stimulation, and also the idea that you can activate the brain and change the way the brain functions. So I think that I think some of the wins are paving the way for us, but I think there's much more work to be done to make people aware that neurotechnology can achieve some outcomes that are not possible with drugs, and they really are complementary. But there's unique attributes of neurotechnology that create huge opportunities to solve difficult problems.
What about some of the remaining work to be done on the clinical side and the technical side? What are the big challenges?
Yeah, I think the big challenge for neurotechnology, and we're trying to be on the leading edge of that, is that the evidentiary requirements for regulatory approval and payer access can be very different. We are developing our technology with a very robust clinical program, which is very data rich, that will try to bridge that gap so that we have a very high level of robust data for regulatory support, but at the same time will translate to payers who want to see very meaningful outcomes. And I think that's the approach we've taken. We're in our 5th clinical trial right now. We have a fully enrolled pivotal trial in mild to moderate Alzheimer's disease in the U.S. at 60 sites. And we're taking a very rigorous approach. That study will read out later next summer. And at that point, we'll be moving very quickly to a regulatory submission and try to get this into the hands of people who need it as quickly as possible.
What are some of the big changes happening right now in the neuromod market, even beyond your company?
Yeah, I think neurologists, neurosurgeons, and those who are trying to find solutions for brain disease are increasingly interested in neurotechnology options. I think some of the initial wins with deep brain stimulation have fostered that interest. Really remarkable outcomes. I think we're all standing on the shoulders of giants. We hope to continue that with our technology, and we look to other technologies as brothers in arms to help us move the field forward. I think one of the big challenges, of course, will be access and coverage. I think health systems will have to play a big part in bringing these solutions to patients. The way we look at it is that we want to be patient-friendly, we want to be provider-friendly, we want to be health system-friendly, and we want to be payer-friendly. So we want to provide a solution that really is a win-win across the spectrum, so there isn't this divide between medical practice and health systems. We want to bring those two together.
And with regards to your particular market, neurotech and neuromod more broadly, paint us a picture of the future. What does this market look like 5-10 years into the future?
Yeah, I think it's going to move from treating very difficult diseases to looking at recovery from injury, and then looking at human performance. I think that is the spectrum that we're looking at. Obviously, starting with a diseased approach, we're looking at slowing the rate of progression of diseases, or hopefully in some cases stabilizing or improving function. I think the second phase will be looking at things like stroke and traumatic brain injury to look at speeding up and extending the degree of recovery in those individuals. But there's a very short line to could human performance be improved? And there's many examples of that in the military and non-military use, and Formula F1 drivers, competitive sports. I think that the sky is the limit. And I think the lessons we're learning now about building brain resilience will translate across diseases and non-disease areas as well.
I'm always interested in your perspective on what are the technologies then we need to get us there?
Yeah, I think, one thing that it may not be considered a technology per se, but I think the idea of introducing a disruptive technology and collecting data from patient use real time in the home and integrating that in a platform is going to be incredibly valuable. In our case, we want to create a platform where the device is customized to the individual. So in our case, we confirm brain activity with our device at the start, and we optimize it. We optimize the settings for that. We monitor device adherence real time using the cloud. We provide adherence reports to the treating physician so they know how the person's using the device real time. We want to integrate that with a diagnostic step up front so we can treat people earlier. We also want to integrate it with a monitoring aspect where we monitor the person in their home, and we get a sense of whether they're doing better, or not.
Yeah.
And I think that bringing all of those things together in a data-rich environment will require technology. It'll require different types of analytical techniques to integrate all that data. It will require a different commercial model, and it'll require a lot of activity at integrated delivery networks. So the pattern of care in the future will be integrating new technologies not at the individual patient level only, but at the health system level. So we change care pathways, we monitor performance, and we provide real-time evidence of impact. I think that's the future.
Well, the future is bright. I'm very excited to see what you and your team are working on and to follow you in the months and years ahead. Thank you so much for not just your time here today, but all the work that you do to advance patient care. Really appreciate it.
Really enjoyed it very much. Thank you, Jim. Appreciate it.